Do you ever catch yourself overthinking with women? You're in an interaction, maybe you're texting a girl or something like that, and you're overthinking. What does she think of me? Am I doing the right thing? Is she into me? And you start going through your head and thinking so much that you wind up stifling yourself and not saying the right things and probably sabotaging the interaction. I know it's a huge issue that a lot of guys suffer with, something that was a big issue for me as well throughout the years. I was always trying to think of the perfect thing to do, the perfect thing to say, and I was spent so much time in my head and overthinking, even between setting up dates and all these other things, that I wound up holding myself back from success and not being in the moment and not saying and doing the right things. So in this video, I want to give you 6 things that you can do so you can stop overthinking with women and start getting better results and being more present and in the moment. So the first concept that I want to explain to you is introversion versus extroversion. And when I first had this explained to me, it was super helpful, and it's something that I now teach on all my programs because it's so powerful. Now, I don't want you to think that, okay, I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. Being introverted or extroverted are states of mind, and you could be in either one at any moment. Yeah, you may tend more to be introverted, right? Or some people may tend to be more extroverted, but they're definitely, I've seen everybody, okay, even the introvert of introverts become extroverted, okay? So they're actual mental states that you could be in. Let me explain this to you. If you are in an introverted state, okay, this means that I could be here in the moment, but let's say I stop talking and I'm sitting here for a minute. What I would do if I wasn't talking to the camera and I'm sitting thinking, so I already started to look off to the side, I'll start ruminating and thinking of things in my head. And what happens is worries come up, doubts come up, all this internal dialogue comes up, which causes fear, anxiety, takes you out of the moment and gets you to overthink. Okay, that's that state that you're in when you're overthinking. Now, if you say, okay, forget that for a second, I'm going to get out of my head, start a conversation and be present in the moment, you'll now be extroverted immediately. And when you're extroverted and you're in the moment, you can't think. You can't be in your head and overthinking things and start getting nervous, right? That's the thing. When you're extroverted, it's much harder for you to be nervous, okay? Some good examples of this. I remember when I was playing high school football many years ago, I was always so nervous before the games, about to throw up, just so nervous. The second that I went out into the field and the first play took place, all my fear went away. Why? Because I immediately got extroverted. I got in the moment and I took action, and I was now out of my head. I was so active, right? That's the thing, is action, right? I was so active that I didn't have time to think. So you definitely want to do this more with women. Another awesome example from a couple weeks ago, I remember I was out and I was overthinking things. You know, how am I going to do tonight? How does my outfit look? Or, you know, I've kind of had a long week. Maybe I'm not feeling super social. You know, these things started to pop into my head. And I said, forget this. Let me take the action. Let me just do my first approaches, get warmed up. And before you know it, I did 2 or 3 approaches, started mingling with girls, and I felt like $1,000,000 because I now got extroverted. You know, you hear a lot back in the day, guys would use the word state, right? How to get into state. How do you get into state? All state is just you being extroverted in the moment and out of your head. So whenever you're introverted and thinking too much, take some action, get active, and get in the moment and get yourself busy, and you won't be so much in your head overthinking. Huge tip, very important for you. Now my second tip, which is kind of related to the first one, but it is different, is to stay busy with other things. If you're sitting around, I've mentioned this before in other videos, if you're sitting around and waiting to see if she responded to you, right? If you're sitting around, you know, focusing so much on your dating life and caring about it so much, then you're gonna overthink, right? You're gonna have nothing else to do. So instead of overthinking, get busy with other stuff, hobbies, activities, goals, passions. I talk to so many guys, they'd like to write a book. They'd like to start a business, right? They like to read a book. They like to take up a class or do all these other things, but they don't wind up doing it. So what do? They sit around, play around on their phone, message on some apps, and they start overthinking the girls that they're talking to. In Way of the Superior Man, they said, have something better to do than meeting women. So if you're busy, you're active, it's actually one of the main things that women are attracted to as well too. So stay busy and stay active in other things so that you're not sitting around thinking so much about your interactions with women. And also too, if you have a lot of other cool things going on, your dating life won't be super paramount, right? You won't be like, oh man, if I don't get her, my life will be over. No, you got other things going on. You're a busy guy, so that's very important too. Stay busy with other things. And the third part, to stop overthinking with women, relates to that second part as well too. These are all building on each other, is to build abundance. Now, I've hammered abundance before, so I'm not going to go super deep into this one, but abundance means having other women that you're talking to, having other interactions and other options in your life. When you have those other options, okay, you're not treating one woman like life and death, you're being active, you're meeting other women, you won't care so much, you won't overthink, you won't over strategize. I tell guys, if you're texting 4 different girls versus you just texting one girl that you really, really, really like, you're probably not going to care that much about the first one. My one buddy was like, oh, no girls ghost me anymore. They all write me back. I'm like, to be honest with you, I bet some of the girls aren't writing you back, but you're talking to several, so you don't even care if they don't write you back, right? So you're naturally doing the right things because you have other options. You're not taking it so seriously. When you're taking things so seriously and try to force things with women, put too much pressure on them, they actually get turned off, all right? So you definitely do not want to do that. The 4th tip was super, super helpful to me, especially in business as well, was to commit yourself to imperfect action. YouTube is a perfect example for me. I wanted to start a YouTube channel. Man, I probably thought about it 7 or 8 years ago. I thought about it forever, but I never did it because I don't know if I had the right camera. I don't know if I had the right microphone, if I was good at editing. I didn't know exactly how to make the best titles and all this stuff. And then it was about 2 years ago now, I've had my channel for about 2 years, that I just said, look, I want you to put videos out imperfectly. Okay, your goal is to get a video out that's not perfect. So I just started filming videos with my webcam and getting them out. And you know what? It was one of the best things I ever did. Now I'm sharing information. I enjoy it. I like being on camera. I like giving value for you guys. And I'm very proud that I had this channel going and I could do this for you guys. But it would never have happened if I tried to do everything perfectly. So I said, do it imperfectly and then trust yourself. That's another big part of this. Trust yourself that you'll handle whatever direction it goes, that you can adapt and make things work, right? So this is a huge thing and a huge concept for you to use with women as well. A lot of guys are like, I want the perfect approach, the perfect thing to say, the perfect strategy and guidelines and all this stuff. And sure, you could take a program and get all those fundamentals, and that's very important, definitely. But even if you don't have every little thing figured out, I used to want to have a reaction and the right thing to say for everything that comes up in the interactions. That's not how this works. You have to go out there and say, hey, look, I'm going to do this imperfectly, break some eggs, and see what happens. So if you commit to taking imperfect action, throwing yourself out there and letting yourself adapt and grow, you're not going to overthink things. How many guys do we know, and this was me my first year, I just read, watch videos because I wanted to have everything perfect before I went out. If I was saying, hey, look, I'm going to do things imperfectly, I would have just got out, messed up, and learned things 10 times quicker. So definitely do things imperfectly. Don't try to be a perfectionist, and take the action and trust yourself that you'll learn and adapt as you go. And these concepts are super awesome. The 5th one that I have for you is KISS, which is keep it simple, stupid. I love that acronym. When I first heard it, kind of offended me. I was like, hey, I'm not stupid, right? But it is true. You want to keep things as simple as possible. And by simple as possible, stick to the fundamentals. Okay, I'm going to film another video here today on how to get started and a basic game plan to get started, right? And it's going to have very simple things in it. Things like, having a very simple social approach like I advocate. Hi, I'm Joe. What are you guys up to tonight? Something like that. Asking simple questions, getting one cool outfit and maybe asking some questions, answering your questions for yourself, and getting maybe, 4 or 5 things you want to ask a girl, 4 or 5 things that you want to talk about, something like that, right? Basic, simple, fundamental things. You can add on all the flash and all those other things as you go. And like I said, you'll learn and adapt and get better as things go. But you want to keep things as simple as possible, because if you overcomplicate things, what is that going to do? It's going to cause you to overthink, to get in your head and to not take action. So you want to keep things as simple as possible. Everything from a dating profile to approaching women, to conversation with women, to text message strategy, to your date strategy, everything. You want to keep things very simple. Think of the core basic fundamentals, the minimum effective dose, like my good boy Mike McApilak likes to talk about. Keep a minimum effective dose, the smallest amount of things, simple fundamentals that are going to work for you, and go and take action with those. The more you simplify the game plan, the easier it will be for you to take action without overthinking. And the last and 6th point, which I have alluded to a little bit in the other points, is to, I have it written down here, is to accept your ignorance and embrace self-trust. Okay, this is one of the coolest things that I've been doing recently in my life, and just realizing, look, I do not understand everything about this. I do not know exactly how it's going to go, but I'm learning to trust myself more in my interactions and all the things I do in my life. I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. Whether I'm rolling out a new program for my business, whether I'm talking to a girl and I'm not sure if she's into me or not, I'm just like, look, let's go in. Whether I see a girl, I'm not sure if she has a boyfriend or not, or if she's going to be into me or not. Things like that, I'm just saying, let's go. Let's give it a shot. Throw myself out there, experience it, and trust myself that I'll be okay. I can handle it at the end of the day, and I'm going to learn something value from this. Even if it's a failure, it'll either be a great story or I'll learn something really awesome. So I really want to encourage you guys to not overthink things with women or in life in general. Take action and try these things out, and trust yourself that you're either going to nail it and do awesome, you're going to fail and have a cool story, or what you're always going to do is you're going to learn and you're going to grow from taking that imperfect action and accepting the fact that you don't know everything, and not trying to overthink and figure everything out before you do it, taking the action first, and then realizing that you can handle it all in the first place. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me or other topics that you'd like me to cover, feel free to comment in the comment section below. And when you're ready, I'll have the next video queued up for you.